Good morning, welcome to a morning review on Tuesday the 6th of January. This is Kim Watson speaking for Easy Trader. Okay, looking at the pound dollar first, and in the end yesterday we saw more of a sort of a sell-off. It never really broke yesterday's early lows. It sort of sold off. We've since seen a bit of a bounce, but it's really consolidating over the last sort of 4, 8, 12 hours. We've seen quite a bit of consolidation really here, slight rising sort of price initially, and then it's just gone pretty much sideward. This hourly chart pretty much sums things up. I'm really looking, if we start seeing a break of the upside, well, we could run back into that hourly 50, which may provide some resistance. Aside of that, if we can get above that, then I'll really start looking a bit more bullish and look for it to move up but towards the weekly pivot there. Alternatively, a break of the lows here. It's a bit iffy because it's in such a tight range, but if it breaks the lows here, I'll possibly be looking towards the short side. Certainly if it breaks this second line I've drawn on here, I'd be more keen to be looking for short sides, and maybe looking, well, initially would be yesterday's low, earlier low, but then Sunday's low. Okay, so that's the pound. The euro, you've got to remember with these currencies, they're still very much in a downward trend, so anything to the downside probably will have a little bit more legs in general. But we are getting to those points where we're a tad oversold, depending how you're looking at things. But if you look at the RSI, for example, would suggest from a daily perspective that the euro is oversold, but we can stay oversold for some time. Now, often in the earlier part of the month we see the monthly pivot hit, so I'm aware that if we can get any traction here on the euro, well, maybe we could be looking for a move towards at least the weekly pivot and then maybe the monthly pivot. It is struggling somewhat at the moment. It's slowing up here, and it's just run into its hourly 50. Now again, as with yesterday, I drew the trend lines on here. Again, the trend line on the lower trend line here. To me, it's if it starts breaking down through that, I'll probably be erring towards the short side of things. As it stands, there's another trend line that's sort of developing at the moment on the upside. It's very much a wedgy sort of pattern coming into play now across the tops here. Just highlight that a little bit more. If I can click on it again, it'd be good. There we go. And if we can break that sort of level, well then I'd be looking for a move up towards the daily R1, and maybe a bit further up, but certainly looking eventually towards the weekly pivot, and maybe, as I said earlier on, there's a reasonable chance of getting up to the monthly pivot, but when we're so far away, maybe that chance has dropped a little. But for now, it's very slow rising, so just to confirm, a break up above these sort of levels, I'll be looking on the longer side. Break of the downside, I'll be looking most likely for shorts. Now the momentum at the moment's gone positive, obviously, on this hourly move upwards, so it's I mean, when I say gone positive, it's been positive for some time there, so yep, that's there. However, a break of those levels may just suggest we'll see it roll over again. Okay, there's a lot of downside potential with the euro, of course, with what's going on. Looking at the dollar yen, the dollar yen's interesting. It's fought back the trend in a sense, because effectively it's the dollar yen, so the yen's actually been strengthening. It strengthened yesterday, and it's following through the Asian session here and continued strengthening at the moment, looking to head down towards its daily 50 at this rate. There is a chance with the yen that it could end up in a pretty much sort of a rangy sort of level between the sort of 116s to 121. Now we're up this sort of area for some time, so there's opportunities to be had. I think it's just being careful with it. I mean, at the moment we sort of had this reaction to the sort of near-term double bottom where it's just ran through it a little bit and it's reacting by the looks of things at the moment. But to be on the long side again with this, I just simply draw this level, and any break of this trend line may see me take the long side back for the, particularly with the daily pivot above us. It would be a reasonable opportunity. It's now hit its sort of weekly, well, it already hit its weekly pivot yesterday. It's now hit its monthly pivot, so it's got those out of the way. So maybe as I say, a break of this trend line, I'll be looking for the long side. It seems to be trading opposite to everything else almost. Although the Aussie dollar, as you move towards the Aussie dollar, that's also had a bit more of a boost. Yesterday it sold off and followed through with a bit of sell-off, but it recovered. It did make a lower low later on in the day, whereas the other markets had already made their lows on the Sunday effectively. But it made the low towards the later session, as I seem to remember. He says, what time was that leisure session? I beg your pardon. No, that was in the well, it was later than the others anyway. It went down to make its low. But at the moment, really, there's sort of two key areas now. If it can break through this sort of upper trend, again, looking on the long side, looking for the pivot as a monthly pivot as a target. If we can get up there. And I've sort of drawn this trend line on the hourlies here. A break of that, well, you've got the daily pivot below untouched, so would be looking at that as a target. Now there could be shorter term trend lines to watch. It has had a bit of divergence up where it is at the moment, so it could sell off a little bit now and correct. So I'd be looking, if the euro and the pound are starting to sell off, maybe looking at shorting the Aussie dollar alongside, but it's holding up marginally better than the other pairs. Okay, that's it for me. Old news-wise today, we've just got the services PMI out at 9:30, and that's it. So not a significant amount of news out. Well, we've got the ISM non-manufacturing from the US covered out at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but generally that's not been moving the markets magnificently, although it could give it a little shove, but this most significant bit of news really today is the UK services PMI figure. Okay, have a great day. Bye.